Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have some developments in Ukraine, and these developments come from obviously a Ukrainian source, Ukrinform, and let's see what these guys are saying. Obviously the Russians are destroying only civilians and civilian targets, which are infrastructure. So this article comes from the 30th of October 2022. Ukrainian Marines eliminate over 50 enemy troops and deploy 10 IFVs. This is one. So over the past day, Ukrainian Marines have eliminated more than 50 Russian invaders and destroyed 10 enemy infantry fighting vehicles, IFV, and one armored personnel carrier. Is this everything on the whole front, or is just a little bit? I think it's just on a little point, a little area. The relevant statement was made by the Naval Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. So the Naval Forces. On October 29, 2022, the military units and forces of the Naval Infantry Command of the Naval Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, as part of groupings, continued to complete tasks repelling Russia's full-scale armed aggression. During battles, the Marines destroyed 10 infantry fighting vehicles, one armored personnel carrier, and one armored fighting vehicle, and eliminated more than 50 occupiers, the report stated. The artillery, military units, and forces of the Naval Infantry Command of the Ukrainian Naval Forces inflicted fire damage on enemy position, having destroyed 2 Russian self-propelled artillery systems, 1 truck, and 2 armored fighting vehicles. The enemy's final losses are yet to be checked. Then we find that 10 civilians killed in Russian attacks on Ukraine territory over past day. So 10 civilians killed by Russian attacks. They never tell us, not never, most of the time they don't tell, they being the Ukrainians obviously, don't tell us about their losses in the military terms. Enemy opens fire on Sumy region's border areas with artillery, mortars, and UAVs. 5 communities have come under enemy fire in Sumy region over the past day. Russian troops used artillery, mortars, and an unmanned aerial vehicle. On October 29, 2022, Russian occupation troops continued to open fire on the Sumy region's border area. The enemy inflicted fire damage with cannon, artillery, mortars, and an UAV. The following communities came under fire: Krasnopilia, Miropilia, Bilopilia, Esman, and Seredino Buda. The report states, in particular, Russian invaders launched mortar strikes on the Bilopilia community from Russia's Tyotinko. Over 15 explosions were recorded. So the Russians are using their territory to hit Ukrainian territory, but the guys from Ukrainian territory, they can't hit the Russian territory. Is this how this total war is waged? Yep. Additionally, Russian launched mortar strikes on the border areas, of Seredino Buda community and Esman community. 4 explosions were recorded in each of them. Russian troops struck the Krasnopilia community with cannon artillery. About 5 explosions were recorded. Here, an enemy UAV also dropped an explosive item. No casualties were reported, so bad shooting. In addition, Russian invaders launched 120 mm mortar strikes in the Miropilia community from Russia's Guyevo. So Guyevo is a legitimate target. About 10 explosions were recorded. Now it says here that 3 Russian missile carriers remain combat ready in Black Sea. Yesterday there were 4. I don't know, they keep moving around, it seems like. So 3 Russian missile carriers with a total volley of 24 caliber type cruise missiles are remaining combat ready in the Black Sea. And I'm quoting, the enemy is enhancing air defense and anti-submarine sabotage defense measures as the minesweeper Ivan Golubets was hit at the outer anchorage at the port of Sevastopol. That's when these guys used 16 Ukrainians, with allegedly British help, allegedly because it comes from the Russian side and it's not proven yet, it's just claimed to be, in Sevastopol yesterday morning at 4 a.m. In the Sea of Azov, Russian forces continue to control maritime communication, keeping up to 3 warships and boats ready, combat ready. Where are those landing ships, I wonder? In the Mediterranean Sea, there are 13 Russian warships, including 5 Kalibr-type cruise missiles. So they are keeping them over there, not too many, but Black Sea is not a big sea, and it seems like all these ships are enough for them. They didn't mention anything anymore about the Russian submarines in the Black Sea, which used to be like 5 or 6. That was the number over there. Now we find that Ukrainian paratroopers eliminate enemy infantry, destroys BMP-1 in Donetsk region. So Mykolaiv paratroopers have eliminated the Russian infantry and destroyed an enemy BMP-1 infantry fighting vehicle in the Donetsk region. The relevant video was posted on the air assault forces of the armed forces of Ukraine. The video shows the result of the combat work of the Ukrainian defenders, servicemen from the 79th Separate Air Assault Brigade of the Air Assault Forces. In particular, on the day, enemy personnel and BMP-1 infantry fighting vehicle together with the crew were destroyed in one of the districts in the Donetsk region, the report says. And they posted the video, but you can't obviously figure out if that's where they say it is and all that. So of course we have the children who are they report here that in this war, as of now, 248 children continue missing. That's unfortunate, but they should look not only in one direction, they should look in a mirror and in not the kids, obviously they're weasels, and look into the other side across the Atlantic Ocean. Again, Russian soldiers stealing, sending home thermal images. Okay, they're all bad. They don't have anything. So, and then part of the draft convicts to be involved in building defensive Wagner line in Ukraine East. If you know, let's say the Russians are building, according to the Ukrainians, a defensive trench for the winter or for whatever comes next, and that's called the Wagner line because the members of the private military company of mercenaries of Wagner group are involved in that. It's about 120 miles, I think, not kilometers, I think it's miles, and they are getting ready for the winter and try to solidify their defensive flank in that area. So the war goes on, but not as fierce as all these articles came from the Ukrainian side. So all those were either titles of articles or little articles on the subjects that I read. I don't see a offensive on either side, and I don't think it's going to be any time soon, unless the one that the Russians are doing and they are conducting right now in Avdiivka and another area next to it with Bakhmut. That's the only offensive that occurs right now on that front line, according to the Ukrainians and the Russians, as far as I find here in these articles. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.